And let me introduce the guest speaker of today, Ras Elliott, Leib, coming from the United States of America. He has been traveling a long way to be here and to represent World Sound and Power Collective. We were supposed to have Ras Mosher as well, which is actually the president of World Sound and Power Collective. He is in the area, but he couldn't make it today, but is there with I obviously, and Ras Elliott will be obviously explaining to us what is World Sound and Power Collective about, the history of the project, and most important thing, how can we strengthen this project, how can we support this project. So welcome once again. My name is Ras Giulio, by the way, and once again I'm blessed to sit with the elders. We have Ras Ivy here, and Ras Elliott, would you introduce yourself kindly? Would you talk a little bit to I?
Talk from here?
Yes, you can talk from here.
This?
Use this. Yes, this is for you. Yes.
Glory to word, glory to sound, glory to the true and living I of Iration. Emperor Haile I Selassie I the First, Kedamawe Tinestistalin. Wadada. Wadada in Amharic means love. So I as Rastafari greet each and every one with what? Love. Pure and simple and perfect. And there's not any partiality. That's why Rastafari go on through all tribulation from that time to this time. Because no partiality means what? The universal. Well, creation give unto I, the sons and daughters of creation, universality. When I are truly universal in terms of the humanity of the whole thing. Well, what is it? It's perfect love. So that is Rastafari call. What was hidden from the wise and the prudent, now reveal unto the babe and suckling. So that's telling I that no matter where you come from, what you see in terms of your identity as a person, well, from there's no partiality, that means universality is for one and all. Well, that's it. That's why Jah give I life to reach that heights. So far, humankind has been pretty much a failure, universally, because I as the sons and daughters have not reached to where we must reach to overcome Babylon. Well, what is Babylon? Babylon is the force that holds back love. And it comes from all direction and all manifestation. So Jah put words into I mouth so that his love and her love can prosper. So I just sharing that little thought, because when it comes to talking about the Word Sound Power Collective, it's a very important part of the movements forward. So I'm going to try and speak to that while sharing some basic information about the collective and its work. Okay. There are many elders in Jamaica, Sheshamani, and elsewhere who biologically come before I. But I fit into that category of elder based on my biological age. But more importantly, where I'm coming from in terms of my own trad in Rastafari. Well, I reach a place now where I am an elder advisor to the Word Sound Power Collective, which is based out of the USA, but as Ras Julio was saying, is really an international brother and sisterhood. Word Sound Power Collective represent the interests of those ancients who have come before and are still here amongst I and I. Those are the first and second generation. The revelation of Rastafari is coming from 1930. So some of those who entered into the faith in those early days were older ones as well, and they have passed on now. But the period that is more familiar to most ones is that period of Rastafari after Jamaican independence, because you would have to say that in Jamaica, independence freed up certain vibration. It was a struggle still, but younger ones were coming into the faith as things like Jamaican music start to grow. So from the start of the ska era coming up, there has always been a Rastafari presence in the music, but it really reached its strength in the 70s. So in the 70s, ones, I man's age, from all different part of Jamaican society start to come into the faith, in part because of this overlap with the popular culture. Well, the golden age of reggae now is where this idea of a Word Sound Power Collective come from, because the Rastafari message, which originate in Jamaica and other parts of the African world, especially in the Caribbean, spread far and wide through the music. I would probably say most of the eye are familiar with Rastafari through the music that introduce you to that. Okay, so it wasn't always the case that the attempt to care for the old, provide for the sick, take care of the youth, free up the prisoner. This is the Rastafari creed. Let the hungry be fed, the sick nourished, the aged protected, and the infant cared for. That's how I and I want to be. We want to fulfill the creed, because when we fulfill the creed, we reach that place which is perfect love, universally. So without works, the words are empty. Rastafari says words without works is a spiritual death. We don't want to be spiritually dead, we want to live. So what the Word Sound Power Collective really does now is try to give to those who pass through great tribulation. There are still survivors of the Coral Gardens massacres, which came in the early 60s, soon after Jamaican independence. They tear down the Dungle, which become Tivoli Gardens, and move out all of the Rasta people and other sufferers from the ghetto. So the government of Jamaica, coming after the Queen's colonial system, wasn't something that gives strength to Rastafari. It used Rastafari to keep down the people. And Rastafari gets castigated in a place like Jamaica. So it's like a perpetual war between the ghetto sufferer and the poor people and Jamaican government, because they use all kind of strategy to hold back. So there's not really public health care in Jamaica. If you don't have money, you cannot pay a doctor. You cannot go to the hospital if you don't have money. So these elder Rastafari who have paved the way, they're few in numbers, but their needs are extreme because of their condition. Some of them have cancer. Some of them don't have food. Some of them don't have a loved one. So there are all kinds of needs. And the collective now is just about that. Identify the needs, address the needs through what? Donations from the good-willed people who recognize a need and want to do something to help. Okay, so Ras Scott, who unfortunately could not come today, and I are representing the Word Sound Power Collective here at Rototom Sunsplash. It's the first time, you would call it officially, that the delegation has come to Rototom, but Ras Flacco, who is a well-known elder and has been coming to Rototom under the auspices of the House of Rastafari, who are hosting this event today and here throughout the Rototom Sunsplash, are already supporting the work of the collective. Ras Flacco is the only elder living in Jamaica who is able to administer whatever funds the collective brings together to help someone. So in a way, it's still a very much hand-to-mouth type of organization, because the money literally goes from hand to mouth. That's how the needs are. So to address the needs, what I'm trying to do as the elder advisor is to help grow the organization so ones and ones can know that there is a place where they can contribute to the elder care of the ancients. That is the special mission of the Word Sound Power Collective. So this is like a little seed plant that need to take care of and nourish, give clean, fresh spring water, and make it grow. Why? Because people talk a whole lot of talk. And it's not unusual to hear people talk about taking care of the elders in need. Well, it's good to recognize this, but don't talk too tough about this issue unless you're prepared to do something to contribute to it. So the organization now is really about inviting ones to come and participate. Well, there are many different ways to participate. I'm going to focus on fundraising, because that's what I'm trying to do as the elder advisor. I'm trying to help grow the fundraising base and organizational strength of the collective so that the work that has been done so far can grow bigger and stronger and do more effective work. Okay, so this is the table that we have representing the works, and I'm inviting everyone after the session to check out the table, because there are things you can take with you and still leave a contribution. So I'm going to just mention one. Because this is a good example of how the collective works, okay? And I'm going to break it down to you. There's a wonderful Rastaman artist named Brother Otto. He is the son of Ras Daniel Hartman, whose works anyone who has ever been to a reggae festival have seen, because they've been copied and reproduced more than any other Rastafari artwork. Well, Brother Otto said that the Word Sound Power Collective should take the artwork for this poster and go with it. So he produced the artwork. The collective had been promoting the sale of the poster at Rototom Sunsplash. So this is like another little effort to both inform people about the collective and share with them how the collective works. Ras Julio and the brethren and sistren who sponsor the House of Rastafari have been doing this for a good while. And if you go inside the restaurant, you're going to get excellent Rasta man and woman food, drinks, but what you're spending at the booth is going into a fund to what? Benefit the elders in needs. So we have Brother Atto, we have the House of Rastafari, we have the Word Sound Power Collective. So when funds are generated, the collective have the responsibility to administer the donations for the elders, okay? Well, if you go to the wordsoundpowercollective.org website, the effort has been made to put everything in the public face. So someone can read about it and learn. Why? Because over $52,000 so far have been raised in doing this work, which in the big scheme of things is not a lot of money, but what it represents is something that was never there before. A genuine effort to help the Rastafari elders in need. Okay, so anything that you have as a talent or ability, let's call it, do not forget the elders, and do not forget the Word Sound Power Collective. Do not forget the House of Rastafari. Do not forget Brother Atto, because these are your brothers and sisters trying to do what works. As Rastafari for what? Rastafari. So we're trying to be a better example, because there is not much being done that has collective strength within Rastafari movements. It might sound funny, but it's the fact. We don't have strong organizations and institutions. It's all right because we have the love, and the growth of Rastafari has many twists and turns. We don't watch nothing. We just go on through and do the right and decent works and invite others to join in to help make it prosper. Okay? So when I say do what you can do, maybe this is a reggae festival, there might be some musical talent. And someone might say, wow, let's do something and sell it online and make a contribution. Well, we have at least representatives from Reggae Music Publicity, the Majesty Media, Sister Beverly Irie, and Lloyd Stanbury are here. They're documenting the event, and they will help share the information about the collective to people who couldn't attend the festival. Other people have cameras. I hope they do the same. Well, Majesty Media wanted to do something. They had a GoFundMe page and raise money. Okay, so they take it upon themselves to say, let's do something. And you can watch the video online of Ras Flacco and Brother Kofi and some other ones giving the same type of information that I'm trying to provide today, but specifically in terms of the elders who are needy in Jamaica, close by where Ras Flacco and his son Kofi live. There's a tabernacle in Montego Bay that Ras Flacco and Ones help to support also. So I'm active on Facebook. I think it's very important that the collective shares the same type of information as I'm sharing here today, because there's a Facebook page. I could take the information about this event and the next one planned for the Rototom right here. It's going to be a documentary screening on the 19th, and I'll be speaking again, and Ross Scott, who couldn't be here today, should be here, and he will be able to tell you about the earlier days of the collective and how it started. I came in as the elder advisor just a few years ago, and there's really a small core of those who both administer the works as well as contribute directly. So I'm pretty satisfied that I covered the bases. I'm certainly welcome to have you ask any question, because there's a lot more to be said. But I'm just going to show you a flyer you can take. Just come up to the table. That's something, if you're a vendor or you travel or you have friends or family, brethren and sistren, you can take the flyer, and that will remind you of the website. And, you know, we say little by little the bird builds its nest, so today is a little nest building. Thank you so much.
Give thanks, Ras Elliott, give thanks. Yes, it's a true joy to have Ras Elliott here and representative, you know, in flesh of World Sound and Power Collective. Yes, as it was said, the House of Rastafari is trying to strengthen the work of World Sound and Power Collective since a few years now, and Ras Flaco has been coming in, I think 4 years now, and I would like to ask Ras Elliott, how could one donate? How can we donate? Is how the donation work? What is the procedure, the basic procedure? How can we make it? Because I think it's pretty simple, isn't it, for once and once?
If you have some money, you can give me some money, and I'll make sure that it gets to where it's going. Now, I'm being a little facetious, but it's really that easy. There's a PayPal account that's hooked up to the wordsoundpowercollective.org website, and you can contribute there. There are items for sale here, as I mentioned, on the table. You can shop at the kitchen and have a food and a drink and contribute. That's how it's done. But I should say that Word Sound Power Collective is a non-profit organization. That means there's in the States it's called 501c3 tax status. So the information is public. Our job is to be transparent and accountable, because we're representing basically two sets of individuals: the elders themselves and the people who are contributing on their behalf. So Rastafari said the hands and the heart have to pure and clean to rally round Jah red, gold and green. That's the standard we want to set as a better example, because it's not a good thing if people take money and it's a Bandulu operation. That doesn't help Rastafari. That does not help Rastafari. So this is something where you can say, oh, I have a confidence that if I give money to this, it's going to reach where I want it to go.
Yes, I. Straight and clear. Give thanks, Ras Elliott. I would like to ask Ras Ibi, since he has been living in Ethiopia since many years now. Ras Ibi, what was your experience? What is your experience? What have you been seeing through your lifetime, and your journey to Rastafari with the elders? How do the elders live also in Ethiopia? I mean, which are the common problems, the most common problems when it concerning Rastafari elders in Ethiopia?
Okay, Rastafari, greetings, perfect peace, perfect love. Yes, let's talk about Ethiopian situation since I'm based there. We see that many elders come to Ethiopia with a lot of faith and very little funds. So they establish a very humble livity. And more time, if they don't find support through organizations or family abroad, they live a very humble life the rest of their lives in Ethiopia. So the World Sound and Power Collective, as we know, is active on both sides of the ocean, in the Caribbean and also helping out in Shashamane, and the help is not enough. We need more strength. Shashamane is a small community. We have a group of elders there who've been around there for a long time, 40 years, 50 years, and there is so much need that an elder at such stage, most of them don't have a family either, but they come by themselves or somebody helped them to come to Ethiopia and they settle. So basically they depend on the community, the local and the international, for their strength. They are too old to really work and gain their own funds, right? So this is our creed is like this: let the hungry be fed, the naked clothed, the sick nourished, the aged protected, the infant cared for. So this is a part of Rastafari liberty all over creation. And in Shashamane we see in it, we see that many of the elders also, they don't come with their own strength, their own money, but they get help through EWF organization or individuals. We have even one in the musical industry who have helped elders to fly and establish in Ethiopia, like that. So elders face health issues, nutritional issues, and those are and I think the health issues is the same in the Caribbean as in Africa, Ethiopia, for the elders.
Yes, give thanks. And speaking about nutrition, I just want to mention another project that it combines very well with the World Sound and Power Collective, and in fact Ras Flaco is in it, also Ras Leib is in it, and Ayman in it as well, and is the Rastafari farm, the Rastafari ancient farm. It's an organic farm that has been created in the area of Montego Bay, Jamaica, and the objective of the farm is to produce fresh food, not to be sold but to be shared amongst Rastafari elders in need. So I want to mention that because it's another project that the House of Rastafari has been sponsoring and supporting throughout the years, and the farm is running now since a couple of years and is in a state of production. It was just an abandoned territory, just a field just nearby Montego Bay Pitford Tabernacle, yes, so Rasta ground. So the farm is just next to the Rasta ground, and the manager of the farm, Ras Flaco, with the farm coordinator Bongo Cecil, they are working hard in order to keep the farm on a production level. Yes, so I don't want to distract the focus from the World Sound and Power Collective, but just to mention another works that is aimed to create an independence, a self-sufficiency, because remember, we cannot rely on Babylon. Rastafari generations, yet I and the elders before we have decided to take an alternative road. Yeah, literally the word it was and still is: move out of Babylon, step out of Babylon, leave out Babylon and come. So now these Rastafari elders, they are in their older age, and they don't have pension, they don't have a family taking care for them. So I know I might sound repetitive because every year I'm here saying the same thing, but I don't mind, I think that it's up to I to do something, because if it was not for those elders, we would not be here today. We are talking about reggae, Irie. We're talking about one love. There is red, gold and green everywhere, even just the flag up there. Well, if it was not for those elders that threw the comb away and left Babylon and came into this alternative movement, if it was not for them, we would not be here today. So please, let's be mindful of that. So that's why I'm really happy, and I want to be honest with you, I'm really happy that Ras Elliott, make this long journey, and Ras Scott as well, in order to seal up, in a sense, this collaboration that is going on through the years. So when you're here, please, have a look. Because if you buy a pin, if you buy a poster, if you buy a t-shirt, you contribute to this cause. When you buy the food in the backyard, same thing. When you buy a t-shirt, just at the shop, just there in the front. When you enter into the House of Rastafari, you know that if you're spending a little money, that money will go to the elders. So give thanks for all of I. I give thanks if we are here able 2019 to wear locks, to flash red, gold and green, to smoke weed, and to talk about this global awakening that is going on. Yes, the elders have been the forerunners of all of this. They have sighted, they have seen it, on the bush, in the bush of Jamaica, on top of the hills. So here, now, we are fulfilling the book. But can we fulfill the book knowing that the elders go empty belly to bed at night?
Yes, I will give thanks for that word sound, because we have to talk about the relationship of reggae to Rastafari. It's simple. You cannot be acquainted with, let alone into reggae music, unless the symbolism represented in the reggae culture resonated with you as an individual. And maybe as you were learning about what the music was dealing with and more familiar with the symbols, you take an interest into it in a deeper way, where you're starting to identify with it as who you are, or at least a part of who you are. Well, there's a disconnect between reggae as both a musical force as well as being a message music that makes people curious about it, because the heartbeat that comes through the rhythm have a movements within what the music is dealing with in terms of its message. So the Rastafari call that comes through the music is what is embraced by many from outside of the immediate experience of being black or being in an African culture, in a Caribbean island, in a post-slavery and colonialism context. We don't have to come from that personally to relate to it, because we're people, and it's about sufferation and victory. Well, that is where the universal comes into it. So it's not limited in terms of its reach. Any and everybody can call it their own. Otherwise, we wouldn't have someone like Bob Marley representing reggae music even after all of these years. Why? Because he brings the Rastafari message and music and goes everywhere at a level of excellence musically that people embrace. So, as we're doing these works, what I'm talking about is being addressed, which is the disconnect. Why should those who were the progenitors of what we have inherited be left to languish in poor health and loneliness? So this work, at whatever level it manifests, whether it's the Ancients Farm or the work that the Word Sound Power Collective do, or whether the elder is in Jamaica or Sheshamani or some other place, the little good that is achieved goes a long way in addressing some of these issues. Because those who are involved in reggae culture should have a natural interest in trying to join in with what is being done that is identifiably good. So that's really what it is. It's not about what the collective or the House of Rastafari or any other might want to do. It's saying, okay, I'm happy that there are ways that the work is being done that's beyond the individual level. You have plenty of people who go into their pocket and give someone a money. That is effective on a one-to-one basis, but it doesn't address the needs because it's too fragmentary. We need institutions and organizations to help bring people into the Rastafari movement. Because time is short. You hear I chanting, Babylon burning, Babylon burning, and there's what? No water. Anyone can look around at the world today and say, okay, I get it. It's beyond what one can do to save themselves. We have to call upon His Majesty Emperor Haile Selassie I for redemption and salvation out of Babylon. In the meantime, we just have to do what we can do collectively to strengthen whatever work needs to be done. Thank you.
Give thanks, Ras Elliott. Any questions? Do you have any question? Please feel free. You know, this is a reasoning. You know, this is. It's not a lesson, but it's more a sharing. So if you have any question that you want to ask to Ras Elliott, and Ras Ibi as well, of course, please feel free. You're very welcome. Okay, don't rush up too much, Well, it's okay, it's all good, We give thanks for the presence. And before to seal up, let me remind you that here, we have few posters explaining the work of World Sound and Power Collective. So you are really invited and really welcome to come inside, spend some time, about 5 minutes, to read up, how World Sound and Power Collective works and what has been achieved during the years. And the posters are also for sales. And we give thanks for your presence. Thanks, and thanks again. Yes, more love, more life, more Rastafari vibrations to each and every one. Yes, Selassie the First.